Okay, so today we are doing a Google Slides lesson, and this is going to be intermediate. So if you are looking for basic tools, how to create a Google slide, how to insert text boxes, we're not going to be going over that stuff today. Today I really hope to just show you some maybe tips and tricks that you don't already know about for Google Slides, how to spice up either your presentations or create digital worksheets. And then next week we have Google Slides, which is classroom applications. So today I'm going to show you how to do some of the items, and then next week, if you're interested, I'm just going to throw a ton of examples at you. You'll have links to all those examples next week so that you can play around and get some ideas for the fall. So, but today is going to be more like, here's how to do this one tip or trick. So again, thanks for being here. So to get started, what we are going to do is just talk about one thing that is really going to, I think, change your life if you don't already know how to do that, and that is resizing a slide. You'll notice that on this Google Slides presentation, it's the standard, right? It's going to be a presentation. You'll notice it's landscape, right? But a lot of times teachers come and ask, okay, well, I want to create an interactive document, or I want to create a newsletter with borders or pictures, and Google Docs is just not working for me. The formatting's not great, so what can I do? And I always direct people to use Google Slides, because even though when we think of slides, we think of presentation mode, you can really do anything. So when you are in a brand new Google slide, you can resize it. And to do that, you're going to go to File, and then Page Setup. When you click on Page Setup, you'll notice that you get a little pop-up window. And again, this is the standard. It's set to widescreen 16:9. But if you click the down arrow, you have the ability to adjust that. They give you 3 other presentation options, but then below is Custom. And when you click on that, you have the ability to change the layout of your slide. So if I wanted to create a handout for parents, maybe a newsletter that either I'm going to send virtually via email, or I even want to have the option to print it, I can change it to the size of a sheet of paper. So I can type in 8.5 by 11. When I click Apply, you'll notice that it has now adjusted my slide to be an 8.5 by 11. Again, this is great if you wanted to print it or just create a worksheet that's not slide looking. You will notice that if I go to add an additional slide, it's going to be the same layout. Unfortunately, if you can't mix and match. So I can't have a 16:9 title and then an 8.5 by 11 in the same presentation. So that's the main thing. So I'll just show you that one more time. So if you go to File, and then we go to Page Setup, we have this custom that you're going to select from the drop down. And I could also make it, if I wanted it to be landscape, I can do 11 by 8.5. You'll also notice you do have some options to change the units. If you're thinking paper, keep it at inches. However, some of you might be thinking about creating an image file or maybe a header for your Google slide or your Google site or your Google form. Then you could change it to pixels, but those are kind of the 2 that I use. And then you hit Apply, and it adjusts that for you. So that is resizing a slide. Again, it's great. It's a great little tip. When we go back to just a normal presentation layout, I'm going to show you a couple of things. The first thing would be how to insert an image as a background. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, why does it matter? Well, if you want to insert an image as a background and then push the presentation out to students, that really limits students from being able to change something on you. We hand something out via Google Classroom or PowerSchool to students and then they delete it on you, right? So by adding it as a background, it really limits some of that. So to do that, what you are going to do is you are going to click on the slide that you would like, and then there's a background button. Again, when you click on background, you have some options. So you can pick a color of your choosing. You can insert images, and then when you select something, you do have the option to make it a theme. So if I wanted all of my backgrounds to be orange, I wanted my entire presentation to be that way, I would click add to theme, but I don't want that. So I'm gonna choose an image. So there's a couple things that you can do. When you select an image for your background, it automatically brings you to this upload feature. So if you have an image file saved onto your computer, you can browse your computer and then upload it from there. You also have access to your camera, right? So it's going to ask you if you want to allow your camera, and then it would bring that up. I'm not going to do that. You can search by image URL. You can look in your photos. So this would be your Google Photos that you have. And then you can also search by your Google Drive. And it would bring up any image files that you have on your drive. The last one that's really great is this Google image search. So if there's something that you're looking for, maybe I want a forest as my background, I can just type that in directly here. It will bring up a bunch of different pictures, and I can select one and then insert it as my background. And again, if I wanted it to be all of my backgrounds, I would add it to theme, or I can just hit done. Now, as a student, right, to be able to delete something like this, they would have to know to go into the background button and change that. So again, very, very unlikely that they would get rid of anything. So let me just show you real quickly a classroom application for that. So this is a real short, interactive online worksheet. And you'll notice that there's 5 questions for the students. I have opinion versus facts. This is something that I created in a Google slide. You'll notice I'm able to type and move things, right? If I were to push this out to my students, they also would have the ability to delete and move things. And maybe I don't want that. I want this to be static. So what I would do is I would take a screenshot of this. So I would create it in Google Slides and then use my screenshot shortcut, which on your Mac is Shift-Command-4. And then I can just highlight what I want to, and not just that part, but I can highlight what I want to screenshot. And it will take a picture of it. And I probably should have unclicked off of that. Let me do that one more time. So it's going to take a picture of whatever I highlight. And then what I can do is I can insert this as a background. So you'll notice on this next slide, I have the students are able to type in some text boxes, but they can't delete this whole thing. Oop, and I didn't insert that as a background, but it's all static, so I can move it, right? But if I insert it as a background, which let me do that real quick, I'm going to choose my image. It's going to be on my computer, so I'm going to look at my desktop. It's this most recent screenshot. I can open it. Now, you'll notice, the student can't move anything, right? They can't move the text. They can't move the boxes. The only thing that they're able to move are these other text boxes that I'm either putting in for them to fill out or that they are going to manually enter if you have taught your students how to add text boxes. So again, a great way to use the background as a way so that students cannot edit what you have for them and can't delete things on you, whether intentionally or unintentionally. Okay, I'm going to show you one more thing before I take a break for questions. I did hear one come through. The next one is going to be slide linking. So this is a great way if you have a very long presentation and you want to be able to have students click on something and take them to a different slide. You might be familiar that you can also link to other URLs, so other websites if you would like, but you have the ability to slide links. So if I have maybe a presentation that I'm sending out to parents and I want them to click on this to go to a different slide, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight what I would like them to click on. So go to slide 7 to see reading resources. I highlight that. I'm going to select the link button, which is along here on my toolbar. And then you'll notice that I have the ability to paste a link. So again, this would be if you wanted them to go outside of the presentation. Or below, there's the ability to actually link it to a slide in the presentation. So I can click on that down arrow, and let's see if I can make that a little bit clearer so you can see it. So you'll notice that I can select the next slide, the previous slide, the first slide, or I can even just select what slide number I want. So for example, this one's slide 7. So I'm going to select slide 7. So when I hit apply, it's a blue underline to denote that it's linked to something. And if I were in presentation mode and click on that, it would take them to slide 7. So I'll just show you that real quick. So again, here's school supplies. I want to go to slide 7. So as a parent, I can click on that and it takes me here to my reading resources. Again, if I'm on this one and let's say I wanted them to be able to click on this image and take them outside, so to Epic the website, the reading resource, what I can do is I can go to that, get the URL, and then again I'm selecting, you can select text or a picture, so I'm selecting this picture. You'll notice I have that link option. I'm going to click on that and I'm going to paste that link. Again, you also have the ability to link to another slide in the presentation, and that's a little bit better view for you. So that's slide linking, and one quick example of some great slide linking. This is a presentation from Slides Mania, which I'll talk about a little bit at the end. But you'll notice that for distance learning, if you want to have a weekly plan for your students to help them stay organized, this is using slide linking. So again, I have to be in presentation mode, but when I'm there, depending on what I click on, and you'll notice I have my little finger, which denotes that I can click on things, it will take me to a different slide. So as a student, if I click on this Monday, this one, it takes me to the activity that they need to do. And then there's this home button, which again is slide linked to take me back to that main page. And then I can click on other ones as well. So slide linking, there's a lot of great applications for it. Again, we'll talk more about them next week, but I wanted to show you this one. And then I wanted to show you one other one. And this is a great example using slide linking. So this was a teacher, and I didn't create this one either, but it was a teacher that wanted to do a research project with her students. But instead of having kids just randomly Google things, she wanted to provide that, but still give them a research experience. So what she did is she created this title page and then had different things for them to read, and they could click and do and look at it. So I'll open that real quick. So again, if I'm in present mode, as a student, you would want them to be in present mode too. I can click on trains. It gives me a little bit about the trains that she wanted them to know. And then there's that home button. And then I can pick on something else, maybe a map. And this is all using that slide linking function, which again, you just highlight what you want, whether it's a picture or text, and then you're able to use that link button up at the top. One last thing, so I mentioned how you're going to want your students to be in presentation mode when they are viewing anything with slide linking, you can force students to open something in presentation mode. You might be familiar with the forced copy in Google Docs, and this is the exact same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my URL and I'm going to copy that. And then if I put it in a different tab, and before I hit enter, if I get rid of this last portion up to the edit, and I type in present instead, then if I send my students this URL, so again without the edit but with the present, it automatically opens up in present mode, and I'll show you what that looks like. So there you go. Now you have my presentation. It's automatically in present mode. They can't really do anything else about it, and they can go through and see my presentation automatically. Okay, so I'm going to pause there for a second for some questions before we move on. If there are any questions, Jenny or Sarah or anyone else that wants to unmute.
There was a question about if you can do a background option in Google Docs, and I think that's why Julia and Jenny and I love slides so much, is that there's a lot more options and functionality in slides than there is in Docs. Editing and moving things around and adding pictures and having that background just makes it a little bit more user-friendly as a teacher and for the student.
Great, thanks. Anything else to address before I move on?
There was a question that just came in about linking the science curriculum or Pearson Math and with logins and anything that they would have to log into, they would still have to log in after they click the link from your slides.
Great.
So it is doable, huh, Jenny?
You would, it would still, you can link any website,
right?
Like was showing, but they would still have to log in using whatever method. So it depends on the login method, I guess.
So like if they log in with Clever,
you have to go through Clever.
Okay. Because I had tried to do those choice boards on Seesaw, and I wanted to link, from science to take them to the video. I wanted to watch them for science, and that didn't work because of how they have to log in.
Yeah, the science login is a little different.
Okay.
We've been talking about workarounds when it comes to the video for math and for science. One option, and I think we might have to look into it a little bit more, is recording just the video and just linking that video to your students. But I want to double check with Pearson and Science and see if that's acceptable, because with copyright and things like that, I don't know if that would be crossing over a line. So we'll get back to you on that, because that question has come up quite a bit during this quarantine time.
So are you saying the students will not automatically be in presentation mode? Like we're going to have to tell them they have to go in presentation mode to do this?
Correct.
With the linking slides?
Yep. So if you do anything with slide linking, you're going to want, it's just easier for the students to be in present mode. You will notice that when I did do some slide linking, it does, I have the option, right? It pops up, and they could click on that, but just for students' sake, I think it's easier for them to be in present mode. So it's very easy for students to get into present mode, just like you and me. They can hit the present button. So maybe that's an instruction that you give them in the assignment, for the slide linking to work its best, please be in present mode. Or you can always send them that forced presentation mode by changing the URL for them. But yes, I recommend that. Great questions. Okay, so I will move on, but please continue to throw questions in the chat, or I will be stopping again to take more questions. The next thing I'm just going to show you, these are to make your presentations a little bit more engaging. So I'm going to show you how to crop some pictures and then start embedding videos and audio. So if I have my image that I would like, you'll notice that when I click on my image, I'm given some tools, right? And there is this crop image. So when I select that, right, you have the ability, you get these little black bars on the side and the corner, and I can click and drag those and then crop the image to a certain width or height that I would like. And that's pretty standard, but you also have the ability to crop the image as a shape. So instead of clicking just the normal crop, again, there's that down arrow, and then I have the ability, and they call it masking it as a certain shape. So when I click that down arrow, I can select, do I want it to be a circle, or do I want it to be in the shape of a heart? I can even do arrows. And depending on what I select, it will crop that image to look like that. So for example, if I wanted it to be a smiley face, I'm going to select the smiley face. Oh, and it just did oval, so hold on for a second. Maybe that's not a great example. Let's do a heart. There you go. So you'll notice it is going to crop that image as an heart. When I click off of it, it has that shape. And again, I can do the same thing. I select this one, click that down arrow, and I can pick any shape that I would like. So even this, do not enter one, I can crop it to be any way that I would like. So that's cropping images. You also have the ability to embed videos into your slides. This is great if you don't necessarily want students going to another site to watch a video. Now, again, it depends on what access you have to that video, right? So like a science video where they have rights over that, it's a little bit different, but Google's great. They partner with YouTube. So what I can do is I can go to Insert, Video, and then I'm given some options. So if it's a video you own, maybe you did a mini lesson or a read aloud, you can click on your Google Drive and it will bring up all of your videos that you have, and you can select those and embed that. But you also have the ability to just search YouTube, or even if you have a URL. So maybe you went to YouTube, found a great educational video, you watched the whole thing, which we highly recommend, and you also approved it for students. Remember that if you're pushing a video out to students via YouTube, the video does have to be approved. So make sure that you watch the whole video and hit that blue approve button. But I can also just search. So maybe in this situation, I'm looking for a video about the moon. This will search YouTube. It will bring up some different videos. So maybe I want this Moon 101 from National Geographic. I can select that. It will put it on my slide. I have the ability to move it wherever I would like, right? It's kind of like an image file. But the really cool thing about this is I have these options that have popped up along the right-hand side. And this is really cool because the first option is that you can decide when you would like the video to start or end at. So let's say this was a 10-minute video, but I only wanted my students to watch 3 minutes of it. I can decide where it's going to start. So maybe I want it to start at the 1-minute mark and end at the 3-minute mark. You'll notice that the YouTube video already jumped to the 1-minute mark, and it will end at the 3-minute mark. It won't show them that anymore. So you have the ability to choose that. There's some additional settings as well. So the first one is autoplay. So when you're in present mode, again, that present mode is really great for students. When students come to this slide, if you have this selected, it will automatically start playing for them. They don't have to click play. If you have a video where you just want them to maybe see the life cycle of a butterfly, but you don't want them to hear the person talking, you can also mute that audio and then maybe put your own audio over it. So a lot of great options. And then there's some additional ones below, which just show like the look of the video. But the main great ones are right here at the top. The picking the time, autoplay, and then muting the audio. So when you're embedding a video, so this is just an example, again, if we're virtual and you have your lesson plans like this, you'll notice I embedded a video here. This is actually a video of me giving instructions to my students. You'll notice it popped up here on the right. So it's just a short thing explaining them what to do, but it gets that personal communication. It's great for students who maybe don't read all the instructions or can't read all the instructions. You can embed a short video of yourself. I might have it autoplay when I'm in present mode so that they know, like, I'm here, this is what you're supposed to do on this slide, and then they can move on. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to embed audio. So maybe you want to be able to share the instructions with your students or embed something, but you don't want them to actually see your face, which I totally get. So if I wanted to introduce my class to an assignment, a trip to the rainforest, I can embed that audio. And you'll notice, again, this is me recording the instructions, so I'll just play that to kind of show you real quick.
Hi class, today we are going to explore the rainforest. Go to slide 2 to walk the Amazon rainforest.
And then it goes on to explain more. You'll notice again, when I have this selected, I have my options along the right-hand side. Again, that top one, audio playback, is by far the best one. So you'll notice this one, I have it selected where it's going to start playing on click. This is great because then my students can listen to it as many times as they want to hear the instructions. But you do also have the option to have it start automatically if you wanted to change that. You have the option to adjust audio levels for the students. And then here are two other ones. So you have the ability to loop the audio. If there was something playing that you wanted it to play continually while they were on that slide, and it was maybe only a 9-second clip or 10-second clip, but they might be on that for a minute or two, you can have it loop, so that will just continually play. You also have the ability to have it stop on slide change. So if they were to switch slides, that audio would then stop. If you are doing a presentation where you want you have a song, maybe like a 3-minute song, and you want it to continue to play over multiple slides, here's where you would uncheck that, because you can put the audio file on that very first slide, and then it will continue to play until the audio file runs out or the presentation has ended. So one other example. So this would be, if you want to do a turn and talk, again, you'll notice I have my audio file up here. This is a 9-second one. It's just rainforest sounds. And what I have it do is I have it automatically starting when I go to this slide. You'll notice I have it looped, right, because I want it to continually play. And then I have it stop on slide change. The other option is this hiding icon while presenting. Because students don't have to click the icon to get it to play, I don't have that selected, this becomes active, so I can now hide the icon. So when I'm in present mode, that icon is not there. Let me get out of that. So to insert audio, so I showed you a little bit of what you can do with audio, but to insert it, it's similar to inserting a video. So again, you go up to Insert, Audio. And the one caveat with audio is, unlike videos where you can search on YouTube, this audio file has to be on your Google Drive. So if you are recording something or you find an audio file, it has to be uploaded on your drive first. So you'll notice I have some options. I can select the audio file and then insert it. It gives me a little icon. I can make it bigger, I can make it smaller, I can adjust all of those things. Another thing I'll just point out real quickly, and I know we're close on time and there's a couple more things I really want to show you, would be you can change the color. So you'll notice on this one I had it green to kind of match the theme. That is down here under recolor. You have some options to adjust what it looks like. Just another fun little tidbit. Okay, so I really have kind of two more things that I want to share with you, but to be mindful of your time, I totally get it. I'm going to pause for questions, and if you have to hop off, please do so, and thank you for being here. But are there any questions before I just share a couple more things, maybe 5 more minutes? No? Okay. So really 2 other things, and that is Slides Mania and Slides Carnival. So you'll notice like some of these really fun backgrounds, like this jungle one. I didn't make that. So I want you to be aware of these 2 sites, and I'll show you them. You can just type the names into Google and they'll pop up. But these are websites that give you templates that you can use, and they're already pre-built for you. And thank you, Jenny, for popping those in there. So what you'll notice is you'll go here, and there's a bunch of different templates that you can do. Here's that jungle one that I did. So when you click on it, and you might have to scroll down, but it shows you the template, what all of the slides look like. Oop. There's kind of what the slides look like. But then if you scroll down, here's where you can download or the PowerPoint template, or actually get the Google Slides. And when you click on Get Google Slides Theme, it will ask you to save it to your drive, and then that copy is yours. They just recommend that you give them credit. You'll notice that some of the credit is built in on the slides, right? It says it on the side or something like that, but there are so many great templates here. So this is Slides Mania, and then again, Slides Carnival is exactly the same. They have some different fun backgrounds that will just spice up your presentations. I will point out one other thing. So on Slides Mania, if you are interested in doing slide linking but you don't know where to start, they have a lot of really great templates that are already slide linked. So for example, this file cabinet one, it's already all linked for you. You just have to import your information, your class information. So those are 2 websites. Definitely bookmark them or keep those in mind when you're creating. The other last thing that I'm going to share real quickly is, remember, there's always add-ons. So if you are someone who likes using Google Slides, always check that add-ons button up here at the top. Okay, 2 of them that I'm going to point out is this insert icons for slides. So when I click on that, it will open it up here on the right-hand side, and it just gives you a bunch of different icons that you can use for your presentation. Ones that you might, want generic, or especially, something to spice it up. If I want to do camping, right, I could have a camping icon. That's something that's very clean and easy to use. This would also be great if you were going to do some slide linking and you wanted to create a home button. And then the other add-on is Pear Deck. And Pear Deck is great because it allows you to create interactive questions with your students. There is a free version and a paid version, but the free version allows you to ask text questions, multiple choice questions, and numbers. And I'm not going to go into quite everything with Pear Deck, but if you're interested in learning more, please reach out to myself or your tech coach, and we'd be happy to show you all the things that you can do with Pear Deck. But for example, if I was posing this to my class, what's your favorite food? I could add a multiple choice question. On their individual device, they would answer it, and I would be able to display the results to the survey. So those are just some fun things with Google Slides. And I guess I will stop there to be mindful of time. So if you have any additional questions, please stay on. I'll remain on. And thanks for being here. Again, next week is going to be classroom applications. A lot of examples that you'll walk away with if you come.
There was a comment earlier, and I don't know if it was addressed, if they got their answer or not, but the audio piece is for inserting audio that's already recorded. If you were trying to do like a voiceover of your presentation, you can't record the audio in the way Julia showed. So I don't know if you want to expand on that, Julia, or what
Sure.
you do.
Yeah, so again, the audio file has to be in your Google Drive to be able to do that. What I do is I just used an online video or online audio recorder. There's a bunch of free ones out there. So I just actually typed it into Google and I used this one, and I'll show you. So this is just onlinevoicerecorder.com. And what I did is it's very easy to use. You do the start recording button. It will record just your voice, and then it allows you to download that audio file. And when I go to save it, then it's again downloaded to my computer, and then I uploaded that to my Google Drive. Some of the other audio files, like the jungle sounds and the forest sounds, I found from a website that, again, it was royalty free. So they said I could use it how I please. There's other sites out there where you can buy certain songs or certain audio recordings, but I like to just try to find the free ones, and that's what I was able to do. Again, I downloaded it, put it in my drive, and then inserted it that way. So theoretically, if you wanted to do a voiceover of your presentation, there's a couple ways you could go about doing that. You could use something like this and walk through the presentation like you were doing. The other option is also to screen record. So I'm using Loom, right? So you could walk through your presentation using Loom and just not show your face. That would be then a video file though. So if you wanted people to interact with links at all, I don't recommend that, but that's another option as well. Okay, please let me know if you have any other questions or comments. And again, I hope to see you guys next week.